Welcome everyone to another plant video. This time we're going to do a fall plant tour of my home. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Let's get started. For those of you that don't know, I live in Canada, so it is now pretty cold outside. So all of my plants have now been brought in. We'll start here with the Dracaena cane. This is a super easy care plant that a lot of offices have because you literally just need to water it when it's super dry and it doesn't really need much else. Leaving the entranceway, we'll now head through the hallway. I'll wave over here. We'll head over here into the kitchen, great room, dining room area. This is our kitchen. We've lived in this house for almost a year now, and I still love how we designed it and how it turned out. We'll start with this grouping of 3 in the kitchen area. We'll start off with this, I think it's a snow queen pothos, but it came from my marble queen, but you can see the leaves are quite light on it. Pothos are an excellent first time plant for anyone that needs something to start off with. And this is an Aglaonema Moonlight Bay. I absolutely love Aglaonemas, and you'll see that I have quite a few in my home. This is a recent addition that I got from a plant trade. Definitely join any Facebook plant trade groups in your area. It is well worth it. And lastly, in this little group is a Sansevieria. Next, moving into the dining room area. This is a table that my husband and I made together. There's another video of that on my channel if you want to check it out. We'll start off with the Peperomia Raindrop. I love this plant. It's thick leaves. I love it as our table's centerpiece. And you'll notice at the top I have this top part sticking out, and I'm considering cutting that, but I also think it kind of looks, sculptural, so maybe I'll just leave it that way. I'm not really sure. Peperomias are very easy care plants. Just water them when you're nearly dry. They like to be a little bit moist, but they're really easy to take care of. I usually like to give mine a bit more sunlight. They seem to need a bit more. Next, we're going to take a look at my favorite 2 plants in my house, starting with the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This is probably my favorite plant. I think it looks so cool climbing this walnut stake. It has just never let me down. I've added some cuttings to it, and you can see they're finally starting to grow there, so I'm really happy to see that. It's a nice, thick, full plant, but it'll continue to get thicker as it grows. It did react a little bit when I brought it in and put out a funny leaf, but it seems to be doing fine now. Next up, we'll take a look at the Monstera deliciosa. This is obviously a big favorite in the houseplant community. Can't get enough of these. I think they are fantastic. I have mine climbing a stake that's wrapped in jute rope. I love having these 2 plants beside each other. I enjoy it especially because I sit at my dinner table and they're literally right beside me, so I can look at them every time I'm having dinner. Next up, we'll take a closer look at this grouping of 2 snake plants and a peace lily. Snake plants are probably the best beginner plant. They need watering maybe once a month, sometimes even less than that. And as long as you give them bright indirect light, they will grow for you. Next up, we'll take a look at this Spathiphyllum, also known as peace lily. Peace lilies need a lot more water than other plants do, so make sure you're watering them every 3 or 4 days. I had to take charge of mine because the person that was taking care of it wasn't watering it enough. It needs a lot of watering, and so I've taken over now, and it's got some new growth, so I think it's doing a lot better. It's also flowered a couple of times since I've been taking care of it, which has been great. I love the black shiny leaves, so cool. on to my family room with my snoozing poodle Olivia there on the couch. This is one of my latest additions that I'm still so excited about, the Philodendron Pink Princess. I will not tell you what I got for this plant. I got it at a super great deal at my local nursery. If you follow your local nursery, you'll never know what they'll have. This is a pink princess that has quite a bit of pink variegation on it. I was so pleased with how much variegation it has. Has a new leaf on its way. I can't wait to see how much pink is in that new leaf. And it also has a little pup growing. You can see there's a little tiny new leaf at the bottom of the plant. So I think I have two pink princesses in here instead of just one, which is great. Oh, look at that leaf. That is my favorite leaf on this plant. Just stunning. Love it. Love this plant. It's so pretty. Can't wait to see it grow. And below that is another new addition. So I grabbed a piece of beech wood from my grandparents' beach and using it as a stake for my new Pothos Cebu Blue, the Cebu Blue. And you can see that this is a mature Cebu Blue. It's got a lot of fenestration on the leaves, and its latest leaf here has a bit of tiny fenestration as well. It's still adjusting. It was an imported plant. This was my first imported plant, so I'm still kind of adjusting to how long it takes for it to acclimate. I did put in some cuttings at the bottom as well, so this will be a really beautiful plant once it really starts to climb this beechwood. I'm really excited to see how that looks. And next, this is my son's little science experiment of beans. And moving on to this beautiful Peperomia Hope. It has grown like crazy since I got it. It is probably due for a repot, so that'll probably be a plant chore I take care of this weekend or perhaps next weekend. Because as you can see, it's looking like it's pretty crammed in there. This is a variegated string of pearls. They need a lot of sunlight, so if you're thinking about getting one of these, this is one I wouldn't consider easy care because it needs tons of sun. I have it sitting in direct sun, and you can see that it's been growing a lot. So I also have a little tiny extra plant in it, and I'm not sure what that is. So if you know what that is, comment below. Moving on to this section beside the fireplace, we're going to eventually build some sort of units beside our fireplace, but as mentioned, we haven't been in the house very long, so it's on the to-do list to build some sort of units. But for now, we have this table here, and we'll start off with this Philodendron Rojo Congo. I think this might also be due for a repot pretty soon as well. I love the red stems of this, and any philodendrons are very low maintenance. You just need to water them when they're nearly dry and give them bright indirect light, and they will just grow for you. So yeah, I'm very happy with this plant, and it's a fairly new arrival as well. Next, we'll move on to my spider plant. This plant I recently just cut off all its babies and gave them away to friends and neighbors. So she has no babies at the moment, this mother plant, but as you can see, I'm expecting some more babies to come out soon. She's been growing again like crazy. I had to repot her again because she just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it really made her perk right up. So she's a very happy plant right now. Moving on to what was my number one wish list plant not too long ago, a Philodendron Silver Sword. The leaves on these, you just have to see them in person. They're absolutely stunning. I love this plant. I cannot wait to see it grow huge for me. I have two in it actually. I got some cuttings of a leaf, and I also got the main plant here as an import. So again, I'm getting kind of used to imports and how long they take to sort of acclimate and start growing normally, but it seems to be doing extremely well. And you can see it's put out a few new leaves since I've got it, and it's easy care just like other philodendrons. Next up is the Philodendron Burl Marks. Another philodendron. Clearly I have a lot and I plan on getting more because they're fantastic. This is the fastest growing philodendron I have, honestly. I think it's even faster than the trailing philodendrons. It constantly puts out new leaves. I've already repotted it once. I don't think it'll need a repot anytime soon, but it's definitely putting out a lot of new growth for me. I love this plant. This is my umbrella tree, the Schefflera. I've had this for quite some time. And moving on to this corner sort of shelf I have. This is an Aglaonema Juliet. Aglaonemas, again, I have a lot of them because they're easy. All you need to do is water them when they're nearly dry and at least give them, medium low light. So they still need light. All plants need light. They need more than a snake plant, but they can do pretty well even in low light. Mine put up new growth all the time. This is a Peperomia Frost. The silver color, this is another plant you kind of have to see in person to see how beautiful it is. This is my favorite peperomia. I think the silver is so pretty on these leaves. And last but not least on this shelf, this is a philodendron micans. So this is a trailing philodendron. This is also a very fast grower, I find. I think I probably need to put it in a place with a bit more light. It seems to be kind of hanging funny there, so I'll probably move this plant to somewhere with more light over the winter time so it can grow some more. And yeah, that's that corner cabinet. This is a Dieffenbachia. I have two in this room actually, so we're going to move on to another one shortly. I love the fluffy leaves. This is a plant that it's also the same easy care. It can handle sort of lower light and it grows very quickly. The main advice I would give for people is to make sure you're turning your Dieffenbachia. So make sure you're turning it around or it will grow sideways on you. So to keep it straight, keep turning it. This is a Peperomia Pixie, another cute little peperomia I got beside a pumpkin that my mother-in-law gave me. Yeah, so it's another peperomia, super easy care, and doesn't need much from me. It's great. We'll move on now to my favorite fern, the staghorn fern. I love the fronds. I love the shield frond in it. They're just really sculptural and interesting plants. So I was so happy when we got this fireplace finished, the fireplace mantle wood finished, because I knew that I'd be wanting to put the staghorn fern right where I can look at it beside my television set. It is just a cool plant. Highly recommend. Super easy to take care of, and look how cool it looks. This is the other Dieffenbachia that's in my living room. This one loves this spot. I've had it in this spot for quite some time and it grows like crazy and it is so fluffy and full. Again, I make sure I turn this pretty frequently because it will lean towards the light if you don't turn it frequently. So you want to make sure that you do that. All your plants really should be turned, but I find with the Dieffenbachia, especially because they tend to grow up, you need to make sure you're turning them frequently. And now we'll move on to the primary bedroom. We'll start with this shelf that I have in our bedroom. This is a jade plant. It's so pretty, shiny leaves, really thick. It's a succulent. I would say this is one that you really don't water very much. I think it probably would like to have a bit more light than I'm giving it here, but it seems to be doing all right. I'm still kind of moving my plants around since bringing them all in from outside. I have a lot more plants than I did at the beginning of the summer, so still adjusting. This is a ZZ plant, perfect plant for beginner if you need a really cool, it has waxy leaves, super easy care, and it probably needs more light too, but it's surviving here, so we'll see what happens. This is my favorite Aglaonema, I think, in terms of patterns of leaves. This is the Silver Bay Aglaonema. Look at how thick those leaves are, and look at the really pretty silver pattern on them. It almost needs nothing from you. It doesn't get a lot of light here, but you can see there's lots of new growth all the time. It is just happy no matter where I put it. This is probably my favorite plant family in terms of thick, full leaves. This is a Dracaena Janet Craig. All dracaenas are very easy care, which is why you often see them in office environments. They literally just need water when they're dry, and that's pretty much it. The Janet Craig doesn't get too big. It's kind of more of a bushy dracaena, so it is a great kind of staple plant that I can use with other arrangements. This is a Dracaena lemon lime. I love the pretty yellow striping on the leaves on these, and they have the same care as other Dracaenas. So again, it's a nice staple plant. It's a nice pop of color when you have an arrangement that is mostly green plants. Moving on to another one of my favorites. This is, I'm going to just use the other name, the Devil's Backbone. The Latin name is a little much for me. I got this plant just on a whim at a nursery that my mother-in-law were shopping at, and every time someone sees a picture of her, they're wondering what it is and where I got it. Look at those stems on it, the jig-jaggy kind of stems, and the leaves are these lime green color. I do highly recommend you pick one up if you ever see one at a store. It is in the succulent family, so super easy care. It likes bright direct light, I find, even, actually, so I don't move it from the spot. I also recommend not moving it because it can drop leaves if you do. And moving on to my bird of paradise. Now, it's kind of looking a little sad. It probably needs a good cleaning, and as well, I went through the entire summer not realizing it was really, really, really root bound in the pot that I had it in. So it needed to be up potted badly, and as soon as I did that, it put out 2 more leaves. Oopsies. And this is my Pothos Marble Queen. I think it's kind of a snow queen / marble queen. You can see that some of the leaves are almost white looking primarily, and some are more green primarily. So that's the difference between a snow queen versus a marble queen. I don't really care what you call it. It is a beautiful plant. I have it climbing a stake that I wrapped in jute rope. So fantastic looking plant. It's what I see when I first get up in the morning, and don't mind the view at all because it's just a beautiful plant to look at. Moving on to the primary bathroom that has the soaker tub with plants above it. So I get to lay in the tub and look at my plants. Not a bad thing to do here. I highly recommend, if you do have enough light in your bathroom, to install shelves like I've done here. Plants love bathrooms because of the extra humidity in them, and it's great. I can sit in the tub and look at my plants. Starting on this shelf with the Philodendron Brazil. Look at how every leaf is unique. That is my favorite thing about this plant. You'll have some that are almost all lime, and you'll have some that have a tiny little lime stripe. It's such a neat thing that every leaf is different on this plant. I have mine climbing a jute rope stake, and it's really starting to climb now, so I'm looking forward to it getting bigger. It grew a lot over the summer. I had it outside mainly. Definitely put your plants outside in the warmer seasons if you are able to, because they grow a lot more outside. Next up is my Scindapsus pictus exotica. This has the most stunning silver leaves. If you can bring one of these outside in the sunshine, you'll truly see that they actually glitter. They actually have sparkles on them. Beautiful plant. It takes a little while to grow. It's a bit more of a slower grower than other trailing plants, but I love how it looks climbing up this trellis I made. Onto the fiddly fig. This is another plant that I had outside for the summer, and it was putting out leaves like every week. It was crazy. And then I brought it inside, and that kind of stopped. Oh man. Next up is the Alocasia Maharani. I got this plant on a trade, and I've never had one before, so I didn't really know how well I would do, but it seems to be quite happy. It's put out one big huge leaf since I got it, and you can see there's another one on the way, so it seems to be doing just fine in the bathroom here. Probably the additional humidity is what's keeping it happy. Next up is an Alocasia poly. This is my second Alocasia I got. It just is a single leaf baby, but I'm sure it will give me some new leaves soon once it grows up a little bit more. And also on this shelf, I have a Sansevieria moonshine. Same care as any other snake plant, but this one has a really pretty kind of shimmery, silvery kind of color, which I really like. On this walnut shelf in the bathroom, I have a Aglaonema Golden Madonna. Just check out the variegation when I do some close-up shots of this particular Aglaonema. Just stunning. I love also the white stems that it has. On the top shelf, I had this Ficus tenuki. It also was outside for the summer and was putting out leaves like crazy. And then I brought it in and it just seems to not be doing as well. It also has not given me a new leaf since the summer ended, but it's a beautiful plant. Hopefully it lasts through the winter and then I can put it outside in the summer again. This is a philodendron lemon lime. Super easy care plant. It's always looking full and thick for me. Just love this plant. Here's the Philodendron cordatum. It's also kind of the same plant as the lemon lime, just a different color. So these two kind of go together in my opinion, and if you combine them, they almost look like a Brazil. Another easy care, just water it when it's dry. Philodendrons definitely do not like to be overwatered, so do not overwater your philodendrons. And we'll move on to this shelf in the bathroom, starting off with this golden pothos. Same care as other golden pothos. The other pothos, they do not like to be overwatered, so do not overwater them. Another ZZ plant. Excellent plant for beginners, as mentioned. Pilea peperomioides. This is also known as the Chinese money plant. It is a plant that I'm kind of starting to get used to. It seems to be doing a lot better now that I've had it for a while. I got this plant on a trade, so I wasn't that familiar with it when I got it, but we seem to be getting to know each other and it seems to be doing a lot better. It may need a little more light. I might have to move it. And a pothos pearls in jade. I have a lot of pothos because they are fantastic and great growers. Just look at the gorgeous variegation in this. It's like a cream color and like a minty green. It's so pretty. It almost looks spray painted in some spots. Another Sansevieria moonshine. Probably won't spend too much time on this one because you just saw a couple others. I have a lot of Sansevierias in my house. And this one is a blue star fern, so another type of fern. I only have 2 ferns in my house, the staghorn and this blue star. I like sort of thicker, fuller leaves on my ferns so that they don't need to be watered as much and they seem to be a little less diva behavior where they kind of dry out. This fern seems to be happy in my bathroom because it's a little more humidity for it. And it grows pretty well. I might need to repot it soon. It's looking a little crammed in there, but it seems to be doing okay for now. Thank you so much for watching this fall plant tour. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.